Hello and welcome to another episode of Bad Comic Review. Today we are looking at Saint Sinner issue 5. Now this is the second part of Sir Sigmund's Arcadia. It's a crossover with Ectokid, and if you watched the previous episode you you heard where we reviewed that one. Now this is part 2 of the story, like I said, and it picks up sort of where we left off. For some reason, the demon caught up with them while they were fleeing, I guess. It's not exactly explained. And Dex tells Phillip to summon his coins out of the creature, and he manages to get 4. And it weakens the creature sufficiently that the demon starts coming apart, and souls start escaping him, and that turns him into some sort of goo, which is kind of gross. Dex and Phil start to leave, but Dex doesn't really want to be alive, Philip doesn't really want to be alive again, and Dex ends up separated from him and starts heading home back to his physical body. Now, he's supposed to be looking for his father, but he doesn't want to take the chance that he's weakened his physical body too much. That leaves Philip in the ectosphere and runs across this blonde girl, Bitsy, that he had met in the previous part. It was one of the girls that picked him up when he first crash landed into the ectosphere. And he agrees to help her, and it's obviously a trick, because you can see it on the panel, that he is being played because every soul has a weakness, so Sir Sigmund is toying with him. Well, we cut back to this guy Perry, who was the one who started this whole mess. Turns out he's still alive, which I guess is good, and he runs across Philip's living body, which literally runs into him with his little car. And Phil is not in the body, but the demon and angel are arguing it out, and they want to hurt Perry. Well, the demon does, but the angel manages to tell the human to push him out, which he does. He pushes him out of the car. Then we go back to Dex, who is eating a slice of pizza while riding a motorcycle that apparently he stole, that wasn't in here. He is on the run trying to find where Arcadia is in the real world so that he can jump right into it in the ectosphere. Meanwhile, Philip is hanging out with this girl, and he's at the gun range again shooting those poor little ghost things. And he smooches with the girl, and that's when we see that, in fact, Tequila, the worm, is in her ear, and when they break apart from the kiss, she has an ecto coin in her mouth. And Dex can kind of see what's going on through his ecto eye, and he jumps into the ectosphere in his physical body and calls the girl succubus and pushes her away. That's when the demon reappears and absorbs the girl back into him. Now, they had mentioned that the demon only eats children's souls, so Philip remembers that at this point as the creature tries to absorb him, and he ages himself back to his actual physical age, which is closer to 25 or so, and he apparently is supposed to have been looking 16. I can't tell how old these people are. The art is a little vague. So he summons his coins back, splatters the demon apart, so Sir Sigmund is destroyed, and all the kids start to head to what's beyond the ectosphere, and they say they're going home now. It's a job sort of well done, I guess. The Ectokid has to go back to the physical world, and he's separated from Philip, and Philip is told that he's almost home to his body, and it cuts to his physical body with his creepy eyes, saying that the demon will be free soon. Yeah, it's a very strange issue, but it's definitely better than... I know I'm not describing it well because it was a pretty mediocre story, but it's significantly better than the previous issues of Saint Sinner. And now I think what happened was there was a lot of oversight and control over where the story had to go and what it had to be doing, and they were aiming originally for a more philosophical storyline like Sandman. They were trying to copy that success, but you could tell that Eileen Lee either wasn't comfortable with that or wasn't well educated in the philosophies. I think that her writing is a lot more solid in this book than it is in the others, and it's pretty obvious that she has some talent for telling a story and working in the confines of what she was assigned. So this definitely shows that, she should be working on a Marvel comic. It just, I think, was a poor fit think probably would have been a better suited with a superhero character than the Clive Barker characters, which are, I'm sorry to say, probably more difficult to work with in a comics medium. So Saint Sinner could have been a pretty good comic, but I think that the wrong creative team, and they were trying too hard to make it something deep and philosophical when it could have been just a fun book. But the artist also did pick up his game a little bit. There was some of the art was much better in here. Not a lot of it, but it was definitely a step up for Richard Pace, and there are some really good scenes here with profiles and shading techniques with the heavy charcoal lines that actually work, unlike previous issues where, again, they were trying to be too psychedelic. Here there actually was some really good art. It was a little bit of a mixed bag still. I'd still say that he needed more work practicing in like indie comics before he could have got to this professional level, but there's definitely more talent displayed in this issue than there was in the previous issues. So yeah, it was overall a mediocre book, but it was definitely a step up from the first 4 issues. Yeah, I think given enough time and a little more either different control or more leeway depending on the circumstances behind it, I think the creative team could have done some better work, and this is definitely a sign of that. So still mediocre though, but that'll do it for this one. As always, thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.